Coming up, envisioning and imaging on the Fourfold Path.
Welcome to the Fourfold Path and Dr. Michael Leikey's spiritual tools and technologies that will increase the quality of your life.
And welcome back, everybody. I'm Reverend Dr. Michael Leikey. This is episode 8. Really visualization, but I like to call it envisioning and imaging. And we'll learn the differences in a few moments. Join me then.
Now in its 10th season, listen and watch Fridays to Dr. Michael's podcast and webcast on iTunes, SoundCloud, Mixcloud, Spreaker, Blog Talk Radio, YouTube, and Facebook.
And we're back. I'm excited about this series, not just the Fourfold Path generally, which is based on my book, but the fact that we're reviewing very, very crucial spiritual technologies and tools. The first one that we established way back, meditation, the basis to everything. Mystical slash contact slash higher consciousness meditation for oneness with the divine, with your higher self, higher mind. You meditate, boom. That's all you need. You're fantastic. Over time, your cells will be rejuvenated. You'll feel younger. It's been clinically proven, all the benefits of meditation, without a doubt. Another spiritual technology along the path to the Fourfold Path, if you will, scientific or affirmative prayer. In a past episode, I referred to it also. We covered prayer treatments, which is a shorter version of them. How powerful, how exciting. With the intention, with the belief of the prayer treatments, the scientific or affirmative prayers, which you can go back to and watch or read in my book, so powerful with meditation. It must be combined with meditation, because just the prayer treatments alone, they won't work. Just like affirmations won't work. You have to put the power of source, the power of love, the power of your higher mind or God behind the prayer. So combined with meditation, the scientific or affirmative prayer, wow, it will begin to heal any emotional issues, the origins of the physical problems. It is a miracle cure in a way, because it involves your higher mind. It involves the divine. So, meditation, scientific or affirmative prayer. Another key component in this healing process, in this spiritual evolvement, if you will, towards the Fourfold Path, is what most lay people call visualization. You can call it visualization, because essentially in your mind's eye, either with eyes closed or with eyes opened, if you can visualize stuff, you're visualizing stuff. A lot of people, though, they don't realize that what you can do with visualization. They don't realize the great power. And again, the only thing that gives anything power of this nature is meditation. So, if you want to effectively visualize something, if you want to eventually make it come to fruition, if it's meant to be, do it in slightly altered state, either with eyes opened or shut. If you're going about your daily routine, take a breath, relax, put yourself in slightly altered state, meditative state, self-hypnotic state. You don't have to sit and do all this stuff formally. I recommend you do. But let's say you're having lunch or dinner, or you're on a break of some kind. Take a breath, relax, become one with your maker, or with source, or with higher mind, whatever terminology you prefer, and then visualize. Visualize what you want at the end of your day. Visualize what you want in your life. Here's the workings behind it. In meditative state, your visualization will become amplified. And that's why I call the whole process, and I've written a book about it, called Envisioning / Imaging. I call it that because it's got the power of meditation, of oneness, of identifying with source behind it. So that's why I call it not visualization. I do for lay people, but I call it envisioning or / imaging, because it's got the power of the universe behind it. So in slightly altered state, start visualizing whatever it is. Start visualizing your healing. Do a blessing. Visualize white light on something or gold light. Very, very powerful. Visualize yourself with a new car. It worked for me. It worked for me 3-4 times. Actually, I shouldn't have done that so many times. I got myself in deep trouble. And nonetheless, I manifested or materialized stuff I should not have. I should have allowed myself to channel source. That's one of the very last stages of the Fourfold Path, where you know what to pray for. I didn't at the time, so I manifested 3-4 cars, big trouble, brand new cars too, without the finances behind it. I only had the finances behind one. So I know the power of prayer full well. I know the power of visualization or envisioning full well. You gotta be careful. Don't abuse it, because if you end up materializing or manifesting something that you're not ready for or don't have the basis behind, because you're not channeling God, because you're not having that knowing of what you really need, and only source knows what you really need, what you have need of, if you will, then you're going to get yourself in trouble, or it's not going to be permanent. It'll just go away. The relationship will fizzle out, or you won't be able to pay for something, or it won't be long lasting. That's the difference between anything that's source based and anything that's not. That's ego, personal ego will based. One is permanent, one is temporary. Nonetheless, it's powerful in meditative state. Visualization becomes the word envisioning or imaging. How does this work? All my research, all my dissertations, all my books, all my thesis and all of that, I finally, just most recently, just before presenting this to you, I was reminded of the workings behind it, of the Eastern psychology behind it, not Western psychology. We tackled that in another episode as well. The difference between Eastern and Western psychology. One of the differences with Eastern psychology, your mind is multi-layered. You've got all these layers of the mind to clean up, if you will. Well, on the psychic energy level of your mind, it's not what you think it is. It's not, oh my goodness, I see, hear, and feel, and I see the future. That's not what that term refers to. At the psychic energy level, it's got potential. It's got potential to hatch something, if you will. It's got potential to manifest something. Right in that little lab, right in that field of your mind, that particular layer called the psychic energy level, you visualize. So, for example, let's say, we'll take something superficial. Let's say you want a brand new car. A used car won't do, mind you, but a brand new car, whatever color, whatever make, you want that. Maybe you actually need it. Maybe you'll use it to help people, drive them around or take them to appointments. But for whatever reason, you've decided you want a vehicle, brand new vehicle. You don't want the hassle of maintenance and all that of a used vehicle. So, you go into a slightly altered state on your own, somewhere, and then you begin to see it. You begin to see this beautiful new car. You can smell the leather or the cloth. You can smell the interior. You can feel and see yourself in the vehicle. You can almost reach out and touch the steering wheel. Maybe it's leather bound, maybe it's plastic, maybe whatever it is. But you are, for all intents and purposes, in this vehicle while you're in slightly altered state, because that gives power behind it. That makes it more real on so many levels. But where that visualization or envisioning or imaging is really originating is in a part of your unconscious mind called the psychic energy level. And at that point, there's a direct connection. There always is anyway, but there's a direct link with your unconscious mind to God if you allow it. It is anyway, but let's say you've established the sight, the sound, the smell, the taste, everything of this car. Well, it's going to become one with Source. It's going to connect with the power of God, the power of the very universe that you exist within, that exists within you, and start to be manifest, start to materialize. That's when visualization becomes envisioning. That's when visualization becomes imaging. When it's planted, when it starts in the psychic energy level of your mind, sights, sounds, smells, taste. I love this car. I can feel it already. I can see it already. I'm sitting in this thing. And in the oneness with Source, boom, wow, everything starts to change. It doesn't mean at all that all of a sudden tomorrow you're going to get a phone call, you've won this car. It might or might not work that way. Only Source knows, A, if it's in your greatest interest, you'll have that car. Certainly if it's in the greater interest of other people, if it's beneficial to others, you'll get it anyway, in whatever way the universe brings it to you. If it's selfless, absolutely, you got an 80% chance, just about 80% chance, it's going to come your way somehow. And how? It could be intuition. You might wake up one day or might be doing something, going about your daily business, and all of a sudden you feel like phoning up a friend, or you feel like visiting someone, or you feel like going to this car lot, or whatever. When you're one with God, and the more you are one with Source, one with the universe, your intuition becomes enhanced so much. You can just about almost take for granted that wherever you're led to, whatever your feelings dictate, it's right. And so your intuition will guide you. Another word for intuition is God guidance, I like to say, to be at the right place at the right time with the right person, whatever the case may be. And lo and behold, maybe the person might go, you know what, I have a vehicle, do you want this one? I know people where that's happened to, that's for sure. Or you might be walking down the street and you go, something says walk into this car lot. And a guy walks up to you, and maybe it's an old school buddy or an old time buddy, and he goes, you know what, we're trying to get rid of this car. Give me $100. And it's a brand new car. That's how miracles happen. Completely illogical. If you try to stop and think, well, that can't happen, how can this happen? It won't happen. You'll create what I like to call a clog or a block. Not for very long, it's not a permanent thing, but it'll sure create hindrances along the way. So for sure, listen to your God guidance, listen to your intuition. If you're guided to walk in somewhere, do it. Especially if you've visualized or envisioned or imaged a brand new vehicle during meditative state, your intuition will guide you to be at the right place at the right time. Let's say it's a better job, works the same way. Let's say it's more money, works the same way. In the power of the mind of the universe, and the power of peace, love, joy, harmony, higher intelligence, wisdom, and creativity in slightly altered state, visualize, envision, image, and sure enough, over time, and not so long a time, you'll be guided to what you think you want. Here's the thing though, what we think we want, even if it's guided a little bit by intuition as how to bring it to us, initially we are basically, and this is the whole reason why I've written the Fourfold Path, so that we don't just go from personal ego will and end up being unhappy or disappointed. Generally and basically in this lifetime, we're going from personal ego will or personal ego identity, which means we're not necessarily consciously or unconsciously thinking about God or in the power of God. We're living, we're just living, we're coping, and we're going about this life like most people do. So if you're doing that, you're going to establish goals. There's nothing wrong with establishing goals, of course, but a lot of these goals may not come to fruition. A lot of these goals may not be long-lasting because they're based in your personal ego will. They don't have the basis of God behind it, or the power of the universe, or the Christ mind is another good term. Another book I've written, by the way. So you're more apt to maybe lose these things or may not be long lasting if you try to manifest or materialize something that's not inspired by God. Be it a relationship, everybody wants a relationship, nobody wants to be alone. You can fool yourself and go, I'm completely established, I don't need anyone. Yeah, but it does augment our life. There's nothing wrong with a healthy relationship. Nonetheless, you bring into your mind, you start to visualize under meditative state something that isn't meant to be, something that's coming from personal ego will. It may not come, or eventually your intuition will guide you to it, but it won't be long lasting because it wasn't inspired by God. Only God knows what you're meant to have, what is in your greatest interest and the greater interest of other people, period. And that's why we have to, soon we'll start on the fourfold path to get you completely thinking and praying from the mind of the universe, so that whatever it is you do bring to yourself will be long lasting and in everyone's greatest interest. So, this being said, at least we're heading towards the fourfold path. Now you have an understanding of visualization, which is envisioning or imaging, and how to bring about and why and how and what level of the mind this works. But next, probably as I'm cheating, I'm looking at my notes, as we move on, now we're going to work towards praying and thinking and acting and being inspired by God or by the universe, which I like to call being on the fourfold path to enlightenment.
Expand your consciousness and awareness with Dr. Michael's more than 40 paperback books of a self-help, mystical, new thought, and metaphysical nature, available from Amazon.
I hope you'll join me next time. I so appreciate that you joined me this time. I'm Reverend Dr. Michael Leike. Until next time, peace and richest blessings.
Welcome to the Fourfold Path and Dr. Michael Leike's spiritual tools and technologies that will increase the quality of your life.